So where are you?
Yeah, I'm in MDC Brooklyn, in a little side room.
This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. It's something that I'll never forget, actually.
Two men who once dominated their empires, now reduced to swapping war stories, sharing bland prison meals, and battling over chess moves inside the cold, unforgiving walls of Brooklyn's notorious detention center. Sounds like a twisted plot from a crime thriller? Think again. This is the real-life downfall of Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced crypto king, and Sean Diddy Combs, the once unstoppable music mogul turned inmate. Both are locked up in the same high-security unit of the Metropolitan Detention Center, a place infamous for its brutal conditions and a lineup of fallen elites. How did two power players from completely different worlds end up in the same prison block? And more importantly, what could they possibly have in common? Buckle up, because this story is wilder than fiction.
But no one wants to be in prison, and you can imagine what happens when you take sort of 40 people, all of whom have been at least charged with crimes, and lock them in a single room for years on end and throw out the key, which is the most trivial things become all that people have left to care about.
Sam Bankman-Fried. From crypto prodigy to convicted fraudster, once celebrated as the boy genius of the crypto world, Sam Bankman-Fried is now a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition and deception. Just a few years ago, he was a billionaire wunderkind, the mastermind behind FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange that promised to reshape the financial landscape. But that dream collapsed in spectacular fashion, exposing a web of fraud, mismanagement, and outright deceit. Prosecutors branded him as the architect of one of the biggest financial scandals in modern history, accusing him of siphoning billions from unsuspecting investors to keep his hedge fund Alameda Research afloat. When FTX crumbled, it sent shockwaves through the financial sector, leaving thousands scrambling to recover their vanished fortunes. By November 2023, the once revered crypto king had been convicted on multiple counts of fraud and money laundering, sealing his fate with a 25-year federal prison sentence. Safe to say, this wasn't the legacy he had envisioned.
I've had a lot of time to reflect on how to communicate, and in retrospect, I think I was not effective at communicating, especially when the crisis first hit. And, in the months thereafter, I made a mistake I often make. I get swept up in details and forget to communicate the bigger picture.
Sean Diddy Combs. From music mogul to legal turmoil. Unlike Sam Bankman-Fried, Sean Diddy Combs was a household name long before the crypto world even knew its first scandal. A powerhouse in the music industry, Combs built an empire on chart-topping hits, fashion labels, and high-profile endorsements. He was the definition of success, a man whose golden touch turned everything into a fortune. But behind the glitz and glamour, a far darker story was unfolding. Prosecutors now accuse Combs of orchestrating a years-long pattern of exploitation involving vulnerable individuals, elaborate schemes, and a network of enablers. The allegations are as shocking as they are damning, ranging from unethical misconduct to outright criminal activity. Despite vehemently denying the accusations, Combs faces a looming trial in May that could determine the fate of his legacy. Once untouchable, he now stands on the edge of a downfall that few could have predicted.
It's incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent till proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent till proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty.
Inside MDC Brooklyn, a notorious holding ground for the fallen elite, the Metropolitan Detention Center, better known as MDC Brooklyn, is no ordinary jail. This fortress-like facility looms over the Brooklyn waterfront, housing a volatile mix of pre-trial detainees and convicted criminals. Over the years, it has earned a grim reputation for its brutal conditions, constant lockdowns, and chronic staff shortages. Inmates describe it as a dark, squalid place where even the most basic necessities are scarce. Yet, despite its bleak environment, MDC Brooklyn has become an unwilling gathering place for some of the most infamous names in the criminal justice system. From R. Kelly to Ghislaine Maxwell, the facility has held its fair share of disgraced elites. Now, it adds 2 more fallen titans to its roster, Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean Diddy Combs.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day, oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
An unlikely bond behind bars. Despite their vastly different backgrounds, Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean Diddy Combs have reportedly formed an unexpected camaraderie behind bars. Bankman-Fried, known for his awkward demeanor and disheveled look, has spoken highly of Combs, describing him as kind and generous. In a recent jailhouse interview with Tucker Carlson, he shared that Combs has been nothing but respectful to both him and their fellow inmates, even offering words of encouragement during tough times. "He's been kind to me. It's a position no one wants to be in. Obviously he doesn't, I don't. It's kind of a soul-crushing place," Bankman-Fried reflected. Inside their shared unit, the 2 men spend much of their time in the common area, a stark space furnished with a few tables, a television, and a well-worn chessboard. For Bankman-Fried, chess has become a personal escape. Known for his analytical mind, he has been sharpening his skills against a surprising set of opponents, former gang members and alleged criminals, many of whom have turned out to be formidable players. "I lose games to them all the time," he admitted. "I was not expecting that." While Combs isn't much of a chess player himself, he's often spotted on the sidelines, watching the matches, offering commentary, and cracking jokes to lighten the mood. A far cry from the world of luxury and power he once commanded.
Of course, some of them are. I think are thinking like, wow, this is sort of a big opportunity, to meet people they wouldn't otherwise get to meet, which is it shocked me the first time I heard that. Right, it makes sense from their perspective, but boy, is that not how I think about prison.
Beyond chess in prison. Small talk, their conversations extend far beyond strategy on the chessboard or casual prison small talk. Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean Diddy Combs have reportedly delved into deep discussions on everything from politics to business strategies, drawing on their shared experiences of navigating high-stakes industries. Bankman-Fried has even opened up about his regrets, confiding in Combs about the choices that led to his downfall. Meanwhile, Combs has offered glimpses into his own struggles, reflecting on the relentless pressures of fame and the mistakes he's made along the way. It's a surreal dynamic. 2 men who once wielded immense power and influence, now stripped of everything, left with nothing but introspection and an unlikely camaraderie in one of the most unforgiving places imaginable.
It's just interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
A bond, tested by tensions and harsh realities, yet their unlikely bond isn't without its strains. While Bankman-Fried has spoken of Combs' kindness, whispers among other inmates tell a different story. Some say the music mogul's larger than life. Persona hasn't faded. He still carries himself like a man who expects deference, even behind bars. Others have noted occasional outbursts, particularly when things don't go his way, a stark contrast to the polished image he once projected. But in a place like MDC Brooklyn, where power dynamics shift in unexpected ways, perhaps that's to be expected. Meanwhile, the prison itself is a brutal equalizer, serving as a constant reminder of just how far these 2 men have fallen. MDC Brooklyn has long been infamous for its inhumane conditions, overcrowded cells, unsanitary living spaces, and relentless lockdowns that confine inmates for hours or even days at a time. For Bankman-Fried and Combs, this means minimal access to the outside world, scarce opportunities for exercise, and virtually no privacy. A far cry from the opulent lifestyles they once enjoyed, the adjustment has been anything but easy.
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out, and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
Finding moments of levity in a harsh reality. Even in the bleak confines of MDC Brooklyn, there are glimpses of normalcy. Sam Bankman-Fried has turned to novels in his spare time, while Sean Diddy Combs has reportedly begun jotting down notes, fueling speculation that he may be working on a memoir. Despite their vastly different worlds, the two have found small ways to support each other, whether through shared meals or late-night conversations about their ongoing legal battles. For all their differences, they've discovered common ground in their struggle to adapt to life behind bars. Their unlikely friendship offers a rare, humanizing glimpse into the downfall of two once powerful figures. A reminder that even in the darkest places, connections can be forged and lessons can be learned. But make no mistake, the road ahead is anything but certain. Both men face the prospect of spending years, if not decades, in prison. And the outcomes of their cases could reshape not only their futures, but also the legacies they leave behind.
Every jail is bad, and some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move him to another jail.
An uncertain future, survival, struggle, and the road ahead. What lies ahead for Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean Diddy Combs? Will their unlikely friendship withstand the trials of prison life, or will the relentless pressures of incarceration drive them apart? As the next chapter of their stories unfolds, one thing is certain: this saga is far from over. The harsh realities of prison had already begun to take their toll on both men. But the real challenges were only just beginning. Their fragile camaraderie provided fleeting moments of normalcy, yet the truth was unavoidable. They were both entangled in legal battles that could define the rest of their lives. And let's be clear, this wasn't just about proving innocence. It was about survival in a system that didn't care how powerful you were on the outside. MDC Brooklyn, the facility they now called home, has been described by former inmates as one of the toughest places to endure. For Bankman-Fried, who had spent his adult life immersed in the fast-moving, tech-driven world of cryptocurrency, and for Combs, a man accustomed to private jets and red carpet events, the adjustment was nothing short of brutal. But beyond the grim conditions of their confinement, the real battle wasn't within the prison walls. It was in the courtroom, where their futures would ultimately be decided.
What we see are just the people that are around us on the inside, rather than who we are on the outside.
Sam Bankman-Fried's last stand. A fight for redemption, Sam Bankman-Fried's legal team was working around the clock, scrambling to prepare his appeal. Convicted of orchestrating what prosecutors have called one of the biggest financial frauds in history, he was handed a 25-year sentence, a crushing blow for the fallen crypto king. Yet, despite the bleak outlook, he hadn't given up hope. Much of his time behind bars had been spent buried in legal documents, strategizing with his lawyers, and searching for any possible way to salvage what remained of his reputation. Manwin. His interview with Tucker Carlson, he hinted that FTX's collapse could have been avoided if only he'd been given more time to stabilize the company. The company should have been solvent, he argued. There was enough to pay everyone back, in theory. But Sam's legal troubles extended beyond the downfall of FTX. His political contributions had also come under scrutiny, adding another layer of complexity to his case. Once a major Democratic donor, he had reportedly shifted his allegiances. In the months leading up to his trial, allegedly funneling equal amounts to Republicans behind closed doors. This revelation sparked intense speculation. Had he been trying to curry favor with lawmakers? And if so, why hadn't it worked? Even Carlson pressed him on whether he had attempted to call in any favors. Sam denied it, of course. But the entire situation left many wondering whether his downfall was solely financial, or if there were deeper forces at play.
Public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in the jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
Diddy's legal battle, a fight for freedom, While Sam Bankman-Fried waged his legal war, Sean "Diddy" Combs was facing his own high-stakes battle, one no less dramatic. Accused of a range of serious offenses, the once untouchable music mogul found himself buried under a mountain of allegations that painted a troubling picture of his life behind closed doors. The charges were staggering, and the damning details that had surfaced left even his most loyal fans questioning everything they thought they knew about him. But Diddy wasn't going down without a fight. His legal team had been relentless, arguing that MDC Brooklyn was no place for someone of his stature. They pointed to the facility's notorious history of violence, overcrowding, and even reports of maggot-infested food as proof that he deserved to await trial in far better conditions, preferably from the comfort of his Miami mansion. The judge, however, wasn't moved. Bail was denied, and Diddy remained behind bars, much to the dismay of his family and supporters.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come?
2 men, 2 strategies, 1 harsh reality. The stakes couldn't have been higher for Sam Bankman-Fried and Sean "Diddy" Combs, yet their approaches to their legal battles couldn't have been more different. Sam, ever the numbers guy, seemed to believe he could spreadsheet his way out of prison. His strategy was built on logic and data, meticulously analyzing every detail of his downfall as if he were debugging a broken financial model. He had even started drafting a manifesto of sorts, outlining what he believed went wrong with FTX and how he intended to make amends. Diddy, on the other hand, leaned on his charisma and public image. His defense team painted him as a visionary, whose creative genius had been distorted by opportunistic accusers looking for a payday. To him, this wasn't just a legal fight. It was a battle to protect his legacy from what he framed as a witch hunt. While their lawyers crafted these competing narratives, both men still had to endure the daily grind of prison life. MDC Brooklyn was infamous for its brutal conditions, and no amount of money, influence, or high-profile status could shield them from the harsh realities of incarceration. The facility was overcrowded, understaffed, and plagued by frequent lockdowns, leaving inmates trapped in their cells for hours, or even days, at a time. For Sam, this meant limited access to legal materials, making it even harder to prepare for his appeal. For Diddy, it meant complete isolation from the outside world, unable to manage his businesses, maintain his public persona, or even communicate freely with his legal team. No matter how powerful they once were, inside these walls, they were just 2 more prisoners fighting to reclaim their futures.
But there's also strategic reasons for the prosecutors to want him to have co-defendants, because right now he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, which would force prosecutors to take him to trial pretty quick, which they actually might not be ready to do. But if you seat him and have co-defendants with him, it makes it a lot easier to pursue a trial continuance without him waiving his speedy trial.
At MDC Brooklyn, Sam Bankman-Fried and Diddy Combs were forced to confront their humanity, stripped of wealth and power. Sam found solace in daily chess games, using logic as an escape, while Diddy relied on charisma, earning respect by mentoring younger inmates and organizing music sessions. Despite their efforts to adapt, prison took a toll. Sam obsessively replayed his past, pacing and muttering calculations as if seeking answers. Diddy, though maintaining his larger-than-life persona, faced the harsh reality of his downfall. In prison, their past successes meant little. Survival and adaptation were all that mattered.
So, have you made friends there? Are you hanging with Diddy? I think he's in there with you.
He is. And I don't know. He's been kind. I've made some friends. It's a weird environment. It's sort of a combination of a few other high-profile cases and a lot of,
Even behind bars, Diddy struggled to maintain his image. Though his charisma earned him respect, cracks began to show. Rumors swirled of a clash with another high-profile inmate over the TV, a small dispute that revealed the fragile balance of power within the prison. Used to controlling his own narrative, the lack of power in this environment was visibly wearing on him. Meanwhile, the media spotlight remained relentless. Every detail of their prison lives, meals, interactions, interactions, even minor gestures, became fodder for speculation. Sam faced constant scrutiny, with critics dissecting his every move. Diddy, while relishing the attention as proof of his status, knew that any misstep could be magnified 1,000-fold. Even in isolation, the world was still watching.
Not buying it all, Kana. And safety can mean a couple different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also too mean emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change.
The question remained, could either man truly recover from this? For Sam, the battle was as much about salvaging his reputation as it was about avoiding prison. His downfall had shaken the cryptocurrency world, leaving many doubtful he could ever regain trust. Diddy faced a different reckoning. Even if he cleared his name, the damage to his legacy seemed irreversible. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the world watched. Would Sam's appeal succeed, allowing him to rebuild his empire, or would he become a cautionary tale of ambition gone wrong? And could Diddy persuade a jury of his innocence, or was his fate already sealed?
Both sides in the Sean Diddy Combs case have until today to give answers for how the music mogul has been communicating from jail. Combs appearing in court last Friday seeking bail while he awaits trial. He's been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since September.
One thing was certain, the road ahead was filled with uncertainty. Their trials would be among the most closely watched in recent history, with consequences reaching far beyond the walls of MDC Brooklyn. As Sam and Diddy braced for their fates, they could only hope that the bonds they had formed in prison would provide some sense of solace. But can either man truly find redemption, or will they forever be defined by their past? More importantly, what does their story reveal about power, success, and the price of ambition? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding saga.